just seen a video of Kasparov talking about chess and about politics. It's quite interesting to watch. Okay, e6 maybe. There's a point here actually, I haven't tried this, but bishop b4 and f5, so a sort of accelerated Nimzo-Indian idea. Okay, he hasn't gone for that. So maybe just a5. Now f5, I can still play f5. So accelerating control of the e4 square. If he takes, I have a pawn here, so knight c3, the natural move, is not easy to play. On the other hand, this pawn is a bit vulnerable. Play queen e7 just in case. Or was queen e8 to h5 better than queen e7? Yeah, queen e8 to h5. Queen e7 could support more naturally taking d6 and e5. So maybe queen e7. Yeah, going to support e5. But I think I'd first have to take, then d6. The bishop is a bit being trapped potentially, so I think I have to do something about that. h6. So if takes, I can get e7 for the bishop. That's the problem. I'm trying to trap my bishop with a3. Okay, given a flight square. Let's use it. So e4 is coming quite quickly from white. There's no way of stopping that. But I could still play d6 if e4, e5, but then d5, tremendously weak. But with the dark square bishop, maybe this isn't such a big deal. If I can just try and develop this problem piece instead. But how? I think knight a6 first, defend c7 for knight b5s. Right, now maybe f4. Okay, so e5 looks as though it's menacing. e5, queen g6, maybe, or queen f7, and queen f7. So I'm hoping if something like d5, then bishop c5, the bishop's fine. I wonder if g5, g4, f3 is a plan. I've played g5. Someone's got a menacing kind of position here with these pawns. But, yeah, queen g6 maybe. Alright, so bishop h5 is a potential threat. Maybe it's time to play something like d6. Try and liberate this bishop, maybe bishop d7 to c6 later. So hitting e5, trying to break up the centre. Actually d5, I don't know, could that be dangerous in some variations? Takes, d5, maybe just e5. So, bishop d7. Maybe that would support bishop e8, get rid of these bishops, to be able to play something like f3 in the future, g4, queen g6 to h5 to h3. Meeting white on the light squares. So bishop d7 as a plan. In fact, here, what's the matter with just g4 to lock this bishop out? Because if knight h4, then I can play f3. But then h3 undermines that g4 pawn. Can't attack that bishop that easily. Okay. So bishop d7 to c6 maybe. Or to e8. Mind you, bishop g4 could be coming up. In fact, maybe that's the reason now that g4 knight moves, say f3, h3, bishop e8, but then he's got bishop takes g4. Attacking e6. So I can't exploit this bishop at the moment. Maybe there's just central for fine, just rule d8 or something. This knight's also not brilliant. Okay, central move. So bishop c6, tempting d5, e takes, would win a pawn and there'll be a pin. So maybe bishop c6 is becoming interesting. Queen h7 here. Queen g6, knight f6, I've got rook f6 protecting the queen. Could try that as well to support h5. Yeah. Protect c6, if I can play king g7 next, then threaten h5 and g4. So knight f6 check, rook takes f6. And play king g7 and h5. So king g7 now to stop this knight f6. Mind you, d5 is a menace. Oh, okay. Can I just take? Why is he giving me this pawn? Is it a panic reaction because he's only got a minute left or something? So queen takes, and play king takes, still threaten h5 and maybe g4, but then there'll be check. No, h5 bishop moves. Fg is Fg, protecting the knight. I'm going to slip in bishop c6 at some point. So e6 is a bit of a problem. I can take queen's here. That loses some. Well, that simplifies the position. I am a pawn up. Let's go for it. In fact, there's something important about this. f3 is almost liability, but not quite. So okay, I'll protect e6. This is a bad piece, my worst piece, I think. How can I reroute this? b7 might be vulnerable to rook b3, but it's a bit artificial, that move. Maybe just b6. Okay, knight c5, protecting the bishop, attacking the rook. Now I can play e5. So to challenge that bishop finally. I can play a4 and knight c5. Okay, knight c5, b4. It's knight d3. Right, I'll take that. I can use the f file now if I take and rook f3. So invasion to threaten rook b3. It's a nice rook and pawn ending. But let's run out of time as well. Bonus. So let's have a quick look at that. Yeah. So I tried this sort of accelerated Franco-Indian, so not playing knight f6 because I want to play f5 before knight f6. So it's an interesting idea. Susan Lanik played it against me in the British Championship. I didn't react that well. I had a bit of a crazy game, but it was ending up as a draw. So here, I'm almost blocked in my own bishop now because of queen e7. But he gave me the dark square bishop, but got in e4, e5. But maybe it wasn't so bad. for me, because this dark square bishop is quite valuable potentially. Just had to unravel the pieces here, especially this queen's bishop. But so this was just unnecessary, I think, just giving out a pawn. Once he played d5, that beautiful knight c5, let me take the bishops off, and it's fine now. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.